Hey everyone, it's Justin. Thank you for watching and or listening to the podcast, and welcome to my house. It's time for another ServiceNow Store highlights video. That's SSH version 07062024. It should have been 0705, but I'm running a day late, and that's okay. Doing stuff on Saturdays just fine with me. We've got a moderate amount compared to the last time, 41 new or updated applications compared to our last episode that had 20. So it'll take a little bit longer, but let's do the rundown here. There are two compatibility updates, 4 fixes, 6 ghost applications. We'll check those, make sure they're still ghost when we go through that list. 8 highlights, 4 minor updates, 4 new releases, and a record-setting. I don't know. I should go back and check the logs. 13 release notes fails. Release notes fails. Man, I can't believe there's 13 of them in an episode with only 41 new or updated applications. But let's get right down to it. Let's take a look at those compatibility updates. There are 2, like I said earlier, BitSite for Vendor Risk Management and Cross Connector for Solution Manager. Both had updates to be compatible with the newer version of ServiceNow. The fixes, we had 4 of them: Armor Point, Calendar Component, Collaboration Calendar, and Smart Connector for Genesis were all some fixes. Again, minor fixes, little changes to patch a bug, stuff like that. Not really worth going into. There were 6 ghost applications, and you can see 5 of them came from one company, AvaSoft Incorporated. Ava Credit Manager, Ava Remodel Remediator, Ava Widget Hub, NextView, and NextView Platinum. But let's go through the effort and check these here. You'll see that they are no longer found, even though once they were found, once upon a time, they are gone from the ServiceNow Store, all 5 of those. And then that last one, ServicePress, WordPress, and WooCommerce Integration from Harmedia Studios, let's check that one, is also a ghost. So ghost meaning it was in the store, it's no longer in the store, you can't download it, you can't do anything with it. So I'm finally capturing those pretty regularly now. So 6 of them for this episode. We had also 4 minor updates: CyberArk Secure Cloud Access On-Demand Workflow, Integrate Box and Box Sign with UI Elements and Spoke, Service Graph Connector for Microsoft Intune, Vulnerability Response Integration with HCL AppScan. All had minor updates, kind of like the fixes where they're just little small changes, small enhancements that weren't worth putting in the highlights for the episode. Lastly, my big disappointment of the episode, these 13 release notes fails. Let's go ahead and read through them here so we can see who the people that couldn't give us decent release notes. Now, release notes fails mean that there were no release notes, repeated release notes, or release notes behind a paywall, meaning you have to have an account with the vendor in order to see the release notes. Fine, whatever, but it's still a fail in my book. Amazon on-premise Confluence Pages 2 KB, Aptio Application Total Cost of Ownership, or TCO, Asset Track Scoreboard, Automate Pro, CG4 Asset Tracking, Connected Workplace, On-Site File, Power BI Connector, SecureWorks Tegas SIR Sync Integration, ServicePress Core WordPress Integration, Space, and Tableau Connector. I think there's one more hidden down there. Yeah, Tier 44 EM/8. All of those I just read off were release notes fails. So what's that mean for you? There's an update, but you're going to have to go figure out what it is, because I can't tell you what got updated, what's new. All right, when that leaves us with the good stuff, we have new releases first. Let's hop right on those. First up is going to be Award Center, a centralized application for managing award programs across organizations. Key features: one-stop shop, manage multiple customizable award programs, along with both standard and custom award categories. Supports flexible nomination periods, custom groups and access management, and archiving reviewed nominations. Provides persona-based access, nomination catalog, and user-friendly design for seamless use. There's a lot of non-specific stuff there. Let's see, we've got some screenshots of creating a new program, a new award program in the awards admin workspace, maybe behind the scene there, behind the modal. Next is that workspace, the award admins. Welcome to Award Center, configure your award programs here. Next is adding some categories. It gives a name, a type, a description, and an image for the categories. And then we're back to my award programs. Then I'm looking at some nominations, a list of nominations. Then there's a catalog item, award nomination. This is in the old classic UI or legacy UI, the catalog item, submitting the form there. who nominated, award program, individual or group, a category, a team name, nominees, and justification with a big description. Type something in, and then we're back to our first screenshot showing the adding a program. So this is a Innovation Lab offering, so it does not carry support or warranty, but it is available on all instances and your developer portal instances. I love when we get to see our PDIs have access to some of these applications. So let's take a look at the next new one. It's going to be EY Medicaid Workflow Modernization. Streamline workflows, reduce manual processes, and improve experiences while maintaining security and compliance. Key features on the functional side: end-to-end process on a single platform, reduced manual work, improved service delivery, improved constituent and provider experience. Technical features: workflow automation, single comprehensive portal, and EY built accelerators covering key Medicaid processes, and in parentheses, hearings and grievances, grants management, etc. There's no screenshots on this one, so that's what's new from the team at Ernst & Young LLP USA. Next new release is going to be the ServicePress WooCommerce Integration add-on. Automate product inventories with a description there. Key features, got quite a list here. ServicePress integration with WooCommerce. ServicePress Core is required. Inventory management via procurement using WordPress e-commerce plugin WooCommerce. ServiceNow processed requested items automatically adjust WooCommerce inventory quantity. Allows for network stores and single stores. You can set up multiple stores and manage separately catalog items with vendor items, or catalog items / vendor items, models and images, stockroom inventory, stock rules, purchase orders, and transfer lines. ServiceNow proposed requested items, lookup / create customers, create orders on WooCommerce, automatically adjust WooCommerce inventory quantity, automated processes via catalog items and triggers, time to value of less than 1 hour, supports and tested on WordPress 6 Plus and WooCommerce 6.8 Plus, and WooCommerce offers 6,000 plus extensions for which enhancements and hooks could apply. Man, quite a mouthful. And we've got some screenshots. First up is going to be a dashboard showing the ServicePress WooCommerce reports or graphics. Basically have a product catalog items, what do you call that, bubble chart, ServicePress consumable model donut chart. I got a funnel diagram for consumables, a vertical bar chart for asset model categories, a pivot table for ServicePress transfer orders, and a list of requested items for ServicePress. Next is a list of products. Next screenshot is the catalog items. So it's showing like a belt, a cap or a ball cap, some sunglasses, and a hoodie. Next is the sunglasses catalog item with the different language, basically showing the catalog that you've probably seen before in the service portal. Next screenshot is showing a response in the activity log. So we've got system information and then a response to that. Next is a WooCommerce order result, basically like a related list at the bottom, I think, of orders is what I'm seeing there. And then we're back to our screenshot of the dashboard. So that's what's new from the team at Harmedia Studios LLC. Last new release for this episode is going to be Zafran Risk Mitigation for Vulnerability Response. Zafran Vulnerability Response app enhances traditional vulnerability scanning by providing unique insights into security controls, runtime, and network reachability, enabling organizations to calculate a more accurate risk score and prioritize vulnerabilities effectively, ultimately improving response efficiency and communication of applicable risk. Key features: the vulnerability response integration enriches vulnerable items in ServiceNow with contextual data from Zafran findings, including mitigated factors, internet-facing evidence, and a recalculated applicable risk score. Asset identification of Zafran assets in your CMDB using vulnerability scanner identification or ID patterns, IRE, and optionally disabled by default IP lookup. Vulnerable item enrichment imports risk and mitigation information from Zafran into ServiceNow and link it to your vulnerable items. All right, we got a couple of screenshots on this one too. First up is the guided setup. Next is more guided setup and more guided setup. And the configuration of the connection, I guess, connecting to Zafran. And a list next screenshot is a list of vulnerability scanner lookups. Next is a list view of Zafran findings in the view of Zafran. I feel like I'm talking about some character. Then we're looking at a finding for a vulnerable item coming from Qualys, and it has the Zafran Risk and Mitigation tab showing an applicable risk score, last seen, is it internet facing, and a link to Zafran. Next is still a vulnerable item, just not sure what I'm looking at, but it's some extra information, some context. And then there's some findings down at the bottom. And then we're back to our guided setup screenshot. So that is what's new from the team at Zafran Security Incorporated. And that was our new releases, which leaves us with the highlights. Let's jump right in. Oh my gosh, I know Ty is so excited about this one. Shout out to Ty at Checklist Pro. Checklist Pro got updated to version 3.0.20. He was telling me it's version 3, but it looks like it's got a .0.20. But here's the new features. Checklist Pro Workspace UI. They got a workspace. Custom component allowing for visualizing checklists on any table in the Workspace UI. Checklist Pro approval subflow added in both Flow Designer and Legacy Workflow that allows for specifying approval methods, all approve, a number approve, a percent approve, a number of managers approve, and allows customers to build their own custom approval method. Allow checklist approval and checklist assignment buttons to have customizable labels, and journal entry functionality added to checklist approvals and checklist assignments. Configurable option to require or not a rejected checklist approval to have a journal entry. And there was one little tiny fix. They fixed the custom CSS CLP-container bug. That sounds like fun. But yeah, that's what's new from the team at Checklist Pro. Next highlight is going to be DigiCert Trust Lifecycle Manager updated version 1.4.0. And in this version, they've added support for the following certificate templates: public client authentication via Cert Central, trust type public, seat type user, issuing CA, Cert Central, enrollment methods, REST API, and DigiCert Trust Assistant, authentication methods, third-party app, and manual approval. The second type, public S/MIME secure email via Cert Central, trust type public, seat type user, issuing CA, Cert Central, enrollment methods, REST API, and DigiCert Trust Assistant, and the authentication methods, third-party app, and manual approval. All right, let's go to our next highlight. It's going to be DocuSign CLM Spoke updated version 1.0.2. And in this version, there's 2 additional subflows that have been created to help the administrator manage the DocuSign CLM account. Update NDA flow, pulling the account from the ServiceNow record used for DocuSign CLM Spoke to run a string test. Delete DocuSign CLM account, delete the DocuSign CLM account, does what it says, and update DocuSign CLM account, which does what it says, like the delete. So we've got update NDA, delete DocuSign CLM account, and update DocuSign CLM account. Next highlight is going to be the Qualys CMDB bidirectional sync, updated version 2. And in this version, they've changed the application name to Qualys CMDB bidirectional sync, which I just read. Removed service graph support, removed ITOM license dependency, performance optimization in ServiceNow to Qualys QG flow. QG. I was going to say Qualys something, but I don't know what the G means. And then minor improvements and bug fixes, and they do provide a link to their documentation. Woohoo! I love that. Next highlight is going to be recorded future for vulnerability response, updated version 3. And this version includes a full refactoring of the application infrastructure without making any changes to functionalities or workflows. The goal of the refactoring is to improve maintainability and overall app performance. Some detailed changes are highlighted below. Removes the dependency to the Recorded Future Foundation Framework app, simplifies the data flow for recorded future risk data, simplifies business rule logic, changes the recorded future vulnerability calculator from being script-based to being rule-based. And note, after installing the new app version, you will have to re-enter your API token in the app configuration page. All right, major release from Recorded Future. Next highlight is Uptime. Uptime was updated to version 4.3.0, and in this version, release of PC cycles, life cycles process to add more capability to the Experience Gateway, MSP aware, domain separated instance support, support for AIS orchestration or Boomi integration according to customer's environment for PC lifecycle catalog item, optimization of REST calls to submit the events directly to ECCQ, and changes to business rules to fire only for entitled customers for PC lifecycle using sys_property_application_values. Next highlight is going to be Visual Kit that was updated to version 2, and in this version it contains all the configurations required to use Visual Kit. For the simple tree and timeline, the features are the following. Set up a tree or timeline by defining a configuration in the relationships between your data. Style the hierarchy in your tree and configure the depth of your levels. Group your timeline data into lanes to get a simple overview. Use different colors, icons, and display fields to style and highlight your visualization elements. Allow different personas to see different views to tailor their experience, and interact with your data directly through actions. No need to leave the page. Do it in your tree or timeline. And our last highlight for the episode is going to be the vulnerability response integration with ARMIS, updated version 1.1.09. And in this version, which is at the top here, there's some enhancements and affected components. Let's take a look at the enhancement. Status change reason mapping. When a vulnerability match has its status updated in ARMIS, the status, status source, and status change reason are mapped into an ARMIS status change table. This table can be viewed via related list from a detection or vulnerable item. Status changes are mapped from the sources manually from console, API, policy, and auto. Filter auto-ignored vulnerabilities. If a vulnerability has been automatically marked ignore in ARMIS, these can be filtered out of the ServiceNow import so that the detections and vulnerable items are not created for them. The affected components, there's some new system properties, 2 new properties for map status change reason and filter out ignored vulnerability matches. There's 2 new script includes, ARMIS vulnerability detection integration and ARMIS vulnerability detection import report processor. And tables, there's an ARMIS status change table, obviously to support the status change, and the columns for that table are detection, status, status change reason, and status source. And there's a new form, ARMIS view, a view for the detection and vulnerable item forms, shows the ARMIS status change reason related lists. Whew. All right, we made it through all of the different categories for this episode. Let's take one more look at how that broke down. 4 new releases, 8 highlights, 2 compatibility updates, 4 minor updates, 6 ghost applications, and I covered up the labels there, 4 fixes, and 13 release notes fails. I hope you found this video or podcast helpful. If you did, please like, please subscribe, or share it with somebody who you think might be interested in what's new or what got updated or removed from the ServiceNow Store. And until next time, don't forget to always be learning.